I just want to, I know that yesterday a lot of my local friends are not used to me snapping at the media, but I just wanted to tell you one thing. One of the reasons on the terrorism issue is that part of our jobs in law enforcement is not to overreact and cause undue panic. And with the information that we had, there was no need to alarm our colleagues around the country and community members by using the word terrorism. That's why I definitely did not use it yesterday, and I'm not using it today. And consequently, I did receive calls from other colleagues that said as a result of that, they were able to make some decisions on not expending taxpayer money to try to protect things that didn't need to be protected at that time. So with that, we will open it up to questions. But again, the FBI will respectfully not answer additional questions.
Chief, on that issue of terrorism, some groups have said that it's okay to call Islamic groups terrorists, but not homegrown. What about that? Why isn't this terrorism?
Well, I think that we've had homegrown terrorists in the past, and so when I was asked about that question yesterday, when you use the word terrorist in terms of how the community is going to respond, in terms of fear, in terms of the sense of what people equate that word to, I did not want to use it because I didn't want people that have children in school and loved ones at work to be panicking, thinking that, oh my God, is there going to be 10 more little planes around the country crashing into buildings? And so at the end of this investigation they're conducting, I'm sure that all of it will come out and a final determination will be made. But I think in terms of what people were looking for yesterday is the common person on the street wanted to know, am I in fear? When you use the word terrorism, I was hesitant to use that because I did not want to create panic when I knew that this appeared to be one guy, one city, and one event.
Chief, we heard Chief Kerr talk about how extremely lucky, also the director talked about how extremely lucky you are. We've heard reports from witnesses, two different things. One, that there was a direct impact. There also was that the plane dropped down, hit the road here, the frontage road bounced up, which is why the engine is still on the road over here. Another reason why we're extremely lucky that the full brunt of the plane didn't hit. And we also heard that the plane was loaded in the cockpit with gasoline or some type of flammable liquids. Can we touch on that, please, for a moment for some clarification?
I can tell you that in terms of flammable liquids and where there was anything on there, that's going to be part of their investigation. That's going to take forensic analysis, and you're probably weeks and maybe even months away from knowing the answer to that question.
Did the plane fall short, bounce up?
I think that's still part of the investigation. You all have asked to move closer. There is forensic evidence behind us, and that's why we are not able to let you get closer to see it.
Is that also the break room, which also contributes to the fact that no large loss of life? That was an area, not a work area, but the break room, most of the people were on a different side of the building, and that's another lucky break that we had.
Well, I can tell you that with almost, the estimates are about 300 people in there, and with Chief Kerr, she can address that even further. This building took ownership for its own safety. They took drills, we all have them, I hope, in our communities and in our places of employment. They took them very seriously, and all indications are that as a result of the seriousness in which preparedness was taken by the people that inhabit this building behind us, lives were saved, with a combination of luck as to the fact that the plane obviously did not go through inside the building. And the last piece was, I can tell you that some folks saw it coming and sounded the alarm yesterday, and folks started running away from this side of the building.
Chief, you talked about your investigation right now. Everything goes through the FBI, but how does what they find here in the car, how does that process work? When do you turn it over, or do you share that information?
This is a truly an amazing team effort. You see APD behind you, that white Suburban back there you see is actually ours. We are actually documenting all of the evidence that you see on this roadway behind you, documenting the actual building itself, and as we prepare reports, we obviously prepare an official report and provide that to the FBI for their investigative package.
Yes, can you tell me, you said that you considered that the I.R.S. office had been assaulted. Is it the working hypothesis that this guy was targeting the I.R.S.?
At this point, it's too early to make a statement like that. I mean, obviously there was an aircraft that crashed into a building where we have I.R.S. employees, their place of business. As far as I'm concerned, that's an assault on I.R.S.
Were there ever any warning signs in the days leading up to this? Any intelligent call, someone call in and say, hey, I think this guy's a little intense, I think he's capable of doing something like this?
Again, at this stage, it's so early. I mean, to presume something like that, I can't speak to it.
Can any of y'all tell us?
Hold on a second. I do want to thank you for, that's a good question for us. I want to dispel one rumor that's floating out there. That is that the Austin Police Department had received previous calls of domestic violence at the Stack residence. We have not. We have no records of any calls of domestic violence. The only call in recent times to that residence was 911 calls to our combined communications center when the fire started. Prior to that, the only record we have of APD contact at that residence was barking dog disturbance calls from a couple of years ago. So I just want to make sure that everybody is clear on that we did not have any recent calls of domestic disturbances there, either recently or in the past.
Well, let me follow up on that. Do you all know where Mrs. Stack was on Wednesday night through Thursday morning?
Well, we released that prior, and that is that she had left her residence and had stayed at a hotel, at a local hotel here in the Austin area.
Chief, can you go over the timeline? Can you go over the timeline, Chief, of there's some discrepancy about how he made it from the house to the Georgetown Airport and then flying back here. Is there any? Can you enlighten us at all about whether he had any devices on timers or anything in the house regarding that fire?
No, I think that's all under investigation with Austin Fire, the FBI, the ATF at that location. And unfortunately, a lot of the questions that you all have is really going to require forensic analysis. It's going to require some science, and it's going to take some time. So I think that Ana Sabana is getting my signal. I want to just thank you all. The building is structurally sound right now, but I think that's something that's going to have to be determined in the near future by structural engineers.
What about the person operating under the assumption that he is doing this entirely by himself? Any other suspects or investigating?
I can tell you personally, from my personal knowledge, I don't have any knowledge that anybody else is involved.
What about the person hospitalized in San Antonio? Is he still hospitalized? What can you tell us about him, and can you release the name?
I don't have any update on. I know that the person in San Antonio was in critical condition. Where did it go? Yesterday. Do you have any update on the person in San Antonio?
We have one person who's still hospitalized for the burn injuries that they were received. The second person who was transported has been treated and released from the hospital at this time.
Did the FBI take down Stack's website, and if so, why?
That was answered yesterday. There was a request to be made, and it speaks for itself. That's all that we have. This will be the last. The FBI did, and that was released yesterday. This will be the last news conference by the City of Austin first responders. And again, thanks for your patience. Sorry about not being able to get you closer, but I know you all understand why we have to be a little reserved on what we release. Thank you very much.
Chief, can we get something in Spanish?
Oh, en español, Spanish.
Oh, good.